Good morning and welcome to the show. This morning we have Marjorie Moore back on the show. She's from the University of Florida Extension in Bay County. Welcome back to the show, Marjorie.
It's good to be back. Thank you for having me.
It's good to see you. You know, the last time you were on, we were talking about canning, okay? Because your role with the University of Florida has a lot to do with agriculture and food, right?
That is correct, yes.
Now this time we're going to talk about drying food.
Yes, I've been teaching a series of classes on food preservation. We started out with the water bath canning class back in June.
Water bath canning. I remember
Yes.
all that from the last show.
And that was really talking about canning acid foods like tomatoes and fruits, jams and jellies. And this month we've been focusing on the pressure canning classes, using a pressure canner to cook low acid foods such as green beans and corn, are a couple of examples. And next month we're going to focus on drying foods as well as freezing foods.
There's a real science to this. Now, you know, a lot of people we're real busy with our lives, but you know, if you're interested in doing this stuff, because convenience foods are everything. You want to open a can or make a mix or whatever. But if you're interested in doing this, we can learn how to prepare these foods and how to preserve these foods through the University of Florida.
That is correct. We are available year-round, and if anyone have a question about any of these items, we could answer your question. They can call my office, and I'm available to answer those questions.
A lot of people like to eat healthy now. I had a guest who was an ethical eating specialist. You know, how to eat ethically. I mean, some people are vegans and other people are vegetarians. I mean, you can...
Well, we just want people to be able to reduce sodium in their diet, for one thing, reduce the fat and sugar, but at the same time increase their dietary fiber so they will be healthy. If they eat, we encourage eating a variety of foods, of course, especially the My Plate that you've heard about. Half your plate should be fruits and vegetables. A portion should be protein and grains, whole grains, and then, of course, your dairy.
Wow, that's interesting stuff. Now, we have all the stuff here we need, or some of the stuff we need here, which includes a variety of spices. And this thing might get me arrested if I walk down the street with it. But this is actually rosemary, which is one of my favorite spices. Anyway, we've got to run off to a break. But on the other side of these messages, maybe you can show me how we would use all these different spices to dry foods and some of the techniques that you teach out there at UF.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll be right back after your local weather, brought to you by the West Pittman Law Firm. westpittmanlawfirm.com. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Marjorie Moore from the University of Florida, and we're talking about drying foods safely. Now, we've got all of these different spices that you have here in little bags and jars, all legal, of course.
They are
Although
legal.
some have the appearance of being illegal for some reason. Not that I would know anything about that. But what are some of the foods that you could dry just with spices?
Basically, you can, like rosemary, you can dry rosemary, you can dry sage, you can dry mint.
You can dry spices.
Yes.
And that's what this little bag is for here?
This is just one of the methods for drying foods, particularly herbs, in a bag. And this bag, like as I mentioned before, you can keep this, keep the herbs at bay, keep the insects and the dust at bay by putting them in a bag. Or you just can turn them upside down and hang them in a
So these are some of the more common things that you can dry. I mean, you can grow these in your yard, like rosemary and basil and parsley and whatever. And you can, and oregano as well. We've grown oregano in pots at the house. And you can dry those like that and use them. Now, what are some foods, like if I wanted to make beef jerky, what would I need to do that? Because I love beef jerky.
Well, you know, you need a steak. You need steak, and you slice it very thin, and then you make a sauce, soy sauce usually, and soy sauce contain a lot of sodium, of course.
That's something we want to avoid.
But you need to marinate the beef in that. But the key to beef jerky is making sure that it's sliced very thin, and then of course putting it in a Now, a dehydrator, that sounds like a specialty item. Where would I get something like that? Well, I did order my office dehydrator online, but you can also check around to local stores here to see if they're available. And I believe some of the stores do carry dehydrators. One thing you want to look for is making sure that the temperature control can go as low as 140, because that's the ideal temperature you want to dry foods. If it's too high, it will burn the food.
So you've got to make sure that you do it correctly. Otherwise, you're going to ruin the food. And it's funny because this is an art and a science that is time honored. I mean, before refrigeration, this is how we preserved our food.
This is go back years and years and years ago with drying foods. So it can be done here, but we want to make sure people do it safely, as you mentioned. You can use a dehydrator. You can do room drying. Some things could be done in the microwave, such as your herbs. Parsley does very well in the microwave. Your rosemary does not do as well in the microwave. So coming to our class on the 14th.
We can learn all about it. So
14th of August, they can learn all about how to do these things.
And you'll have these classes periodically, won't you?
Yes.
And how do we sign up for them, and how do we find out more about it?
They can call my office at 784-6105 and to register. And they need to register by August the 11th. And the class is free, and it will be held at my office at 2728 East 14th Street.
Oh, Marjorie Moore, thank you so much for getting us smart on how to dry foods. I thought we heard it all. There was one little thing I did want to talk with you about, and that was that fruit leather?
Fruit leather, yes. It's just pureed fruit, and you basically, if you have fruit that
you make like a fruit roll up with it or something.
Yes, and that's what you buy. You spend a lot of money. You
Yeah.
spend a lot of money at the store. You can make your own.
Fruit leather. It's not for your feet. And we'll be right back after your Mad Hatter Minute.
Hi, this is David Lovett, and this is your Mad Hatter Minute. Changing your engine oil is one of the single most important vehicle maintenance acts you can perform on your car. Gasoline, transmission fluid, water, coolant, brake fluid, all are very important fluids that must be changed, but none of them have such a negative impact if it's not performed regularly than your engine oil. When your engine doesn't receive the proper amount of oil that it should, or if the oil that it's receiving is dirty and contaminated, it begins to shut down. Eventually, your engine will seize. It'll stop running. And then you're looking at a very, very expensive auto repair. So how often should you replace your engine oil? Well, most experts agree that between 3,000 and 5,000 miles is the optimal amount of time to replace your engine oil. If you really want to know, turn to your operator's guide that's usually located in your glove compartment. Probably the most least read book in the world. Open it up, go to the back, and see what type of intervals and what type of oil that your manufacturer recommends for changing. Changing engine oil is a very simple process, and a lot of people change their own oil. If you're one of these do-it-yourselfers, take some very basic advice. Change the engine oil filter. The engine oil filter captures all the soot, all the grime, all the contaminants out of the old oil. You drain the old oil out, you put new oil back in, you're putting it on right on top of that dirty, nasty filter. All that sludge and all that grime is going to circulate right back out of the filter and right back into your motor. I'm David Lovett, and this has been your Mad Hatter Minute.
Hey folks, this is Joshua Brown with Mad Hatter on 23rd Street. Is your check engine light on? If it is, text MADHAT28, that's MADHAT28, to 24247, and we'll check it for free.
Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Pamela Elliott from Elliott Vocal Studios and Talent Agency, and she's going to get us up to date on what's going on out there at that little octagon structure out there on 23rd Street. How have you been, Pamela? I haven't seen you in a while.
I've been great. We've been busy.
Yeah, I suppose, huh?
Yes.
You know, I stopped in the other day and talked to Stephen, and I know you were busy in the back with some lessons and things like that. So you have a lot of things going on there. What are some of the things that are happening nowadays?
Well, we're getting ready for our back-to-school special that we're going to have some coupons in the Bay County Connection. So keep your eyes open for those. And of course,
and that's with those coupons that you get in your newspaper.
Needless to say, you don't have to have the coupon to come in, and and take advantage of the specials.
All you got to do is say, I saw it on the Waking Up with Don show.
Yes, you can.
That'll get you the
Absolutely,
discount.
you can. And, you know,
Yeah.
you can clip those coupons if you want. If we would appreciate it because it kind of lets us know,
Yeah.
you know, who's looking at that. But, yeah, we're going to have some great specials, some back-to-school specials.
So it'll be discounted because it's back
Yes.
to school now, and everybody's looking for activities for their kids after school.
Yep. And one of the specials is for just anybody is a recording demo. We're going to do like 4 hours for $250. That is really good price.
4 hours of studio time.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Recording
And I've seen that
time.
studio. That is a no kidding state-of-the-art, you know,
It
recording studio.
is, and we have a great engineer too, so
Yeah,
it works
yeah.
really well.
And how's the talent agency going? You got anything going on there?
Yes, the talent agency is rocking and rolling. We are doing, you know, we're still working on the website, and we're adding talent every day. It's we're getting ready to launch that in a big way, very, very soon, like in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, you've got someone coming in from out of town to teach some acting lessons or something too?
Yes, we
Yeah.
do. In September
Okay.
5th and 6th, it's a Friday and Saturday, there's a 10-hour intensive for acting on camera. And that will be at Elliott Vocal Studios. And it's with Catherine Sullivan, who is a very sought-after acting coach around the nation. Just a few of her clients are Selena Gomez, Demi Lovato, and I could go on and on and on.
Wow. Maybe I can get some acting lessons from her. Who knows?
Well, yeah.
Maybe I can teach her a thing or two. Who the heck knows?
She is very, very serious, and this
Yeah.
intensive is for serious,
Oh, well.
very serious people that
that
want
counts
to be
me
in
out.
the acting business. So
That counts
they
me
want to
out.
be out there working.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Doing the
so the
bigger
benefit
thing.
of signing up for that is, you know, getting like a no-kidding world-class acting coach right
Yes.
here in little old Panama City.
Yes, and this
And then-
is a big deal for Panama City. This is bringing in the big guns.
Yeah, that is. Now is
Yeah.
that going to be very expensive to do?
It is going to be a little, you know, it's $339, but that's 10 hours with a
Yeah.
and like you said, that's
Coach
the
to
big
the stars,
guns.
yeah.
Yeah, and you know, if to get this kind of thing, you would have to go to Dallas or Atlanta or somewhere like that, and you got to, if you factor in your, you know, your travel time and your
Yeah.
hotel and all that stuff for something like this is a great deal.
So if you're a serious actor, you should, you know, make
Yes.
that small investment. And,
yeah,
and
it's
do
for
that here.
teens and adults. It's pretty serious.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
good. The beauty of this whole thing is you've got the talent agency there as well.
Yes.
So not only can you perfect your craft there, you can probably get a job somewhere along the way too.
Yes, that's very true.
I know. It's funny how this whole thing has started with you, just knowing you and Stephen as I do, you know, with the music lessons and then the talent agency and now all of these acting lessons, and the talent that you bring in from all over the country is really astounding.
Thank you.
You guys are doing a great job out there. So how do we get in touch with you? And how do we
Just-
learn more about it?
You can go to www.elliottVocalstudios.com.
Pamela Elliott from Elliott Vocal Studios and Talent Agency, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks, Don.
And we'll see you next week. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to the show. I'm happy to have back on the show today Parker McClellan. He is the Executive Director of Northwest Florida's Beaches International Airport. I'm looking down because I have to read it because it rolls right off the tongue. But Beaches Airport, I guess, is what it's commonly known as.
Beaches International, yeah.
Beaches International, and some people still call it Panama City Airport.
That's true.
Yeah, but old habits are hard to break. What's going on at the airport? I mean, there's a lot of big doings going on up there nowadays.
You know, this summer's been great for us, as has been great for the rest of the community. The numbers look really good for July. July 4th was a great weekend for us. The terminal was jam-packed with people, and that's what we like to see.
Yeah. Now, if you're a traveler, you don't necessarily like to see that, but it's good for the airport to have a lot of traffic through there. I remember back in the day when we were talking about moving the airport off of 390 and bringing it up there. There were a lot of people. There's a great hue and cry from a lot of people like, oh, it's not going to work, blah, blah, blah. How's it working now?
The success of the airport, you know, we had our growing pains,
Yeah.
as does any new business. But
Sure.
you know,
Don't I know that? Yeah.
the relocation of the airport, the numbers are up. You know, we're now a Delta mainline station, which is really important. So that means that Delta has seen the success that they're just bringing in Delta jets and the occasional regional jets instead of all regional jets. So we have more seats with Delta.
Right.
You know, Southwest has still been successful. They both make seasonal adjustments, and we continue to look for additional airlines and additional service so we can enhance the airport.
You talked about seasonal adjustments, and some of those seasonal adjustments, we're talking about different routes, like different times of year, perhaps more routes are more profitable than others?
For example, Southwest adds St. Louis during the summer, the spring and summer. Next year, we hope that they've told us they're going to add a nonstop flight to Dallas. So, you know, those are the kind of changes that they make. They may go from 9 flights a day to 6, but it's all about the load factors and how many people are sitting in the seats.
That's right. It's all about putting butts in seats, I suppose, you know. And some routes are more popular than others. Some are money makers, some aren't. So just like free enterprise, that's what we do. You know, we go where the need is greatest, I suppose.
Exactly.
Now, you know, we've got to run off to a break here in just a minute, but maybe briefly you can describe to us. I have here in my hand the master plan to the airport. What's this all about? Is this your guiding Bible of sorts?
It's a guidebook that we put together. It's about 18 months in putting it together. Several public meetings. There's one more coming up where we'll present our recommendations. The recommendations include a longer crosswind runway, a lot of terminal improvements. So for growth, so we're out there, and we've used a thing called planning activity levels rather than time. So when we reach 600,000 passengers, we know we need to be doing X. And because the numbers change. If you do it by time, it's a lot harder. So we did it by activity level, which gives this document a whole lot more value.
Well, you know, before we started the interview, I had the opportunity to kind of briefly thumb through this, and it really brought back memories of my Air Force days because it was just so detailed, and I know you guys are working hard on that. I want to drill more down into this master plan on the other side of these breaks, and we'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to the show. In a 3-minute break, I have entirely memorized the master plan to the airport here. No, I really didn't. But I did thumb through it a little bit. And wow, you've got everything from facility requirements to the fixed-based operator master site plan to, you know, it seems like you've thought of everything in here, or at least try to with this master plan.
Yep.
Now, this is a product of not just you, but this is a collaboration.
This is a collaboration of input from the community. We had a technical advisory committee, about 20 local community people, plus public meetings. We hired a consultant for that. So there's been a lot of input into this. So it's a very thorough document. And again, it's a guideline for us to use as we grow and prepare for the future.
Yeah, and what we used to say in the military was if you don't have a plan, plan to lose. And it looks like you guys are really planning to win with this.
We're trying.
So things are going well at the airport. Who are the typical flyers? Or is that like time of the year? Is that a function of what
It
time
depends
of year it is?
the time of year. A lot of our guests come from the Midwest and from the Dallas, Houston, kind of from Texas, because we're really the first beach. There are some other beaches along the way, but if you look at a map, we're the first real nice beach that you.
That's true.
Or excuse me, I should say to support Dan Rowe, the real fun beach.
And there are beaches in Texas, but not as nice as ours.
The white sands.
Yeah.
We do have the world's most beautiful beaches.
Now, what about the Northeast? You don't see a lot of Northeasterners coming to this part of Florida, do you?
There are some, and we're working with both the South Walton TDC as well as the Panama City Beach TDC to grow that market. The challenge is that people on the East Coast already have their beaches picked out.
Pretty much.
They're historically, they've gone to the Ocean City, the Jersey Shore, Ocean or Outer Banks, and then the New York folks all end up in South Beach. But what we have is an economical destination and beautiful beaches. So we're working with them to make sure that message gets out.
What does success look like for the airport? What's the end game?
The end game is we grow the number of passengers, grow the airlines, and then it's a business center. is that we get some more businesses out at the airport so that we can grow and better serve the community.
And the beauty of the location that you have now is, besides it being closer to my house since we moved up there, is you have room to grow.
We do. We're in the process of adding. We have 4,000 acres. We have 1,200 that are developable, and we're adding another 400 or so through an investigative process with the Corps of Engineers and the state to add that.
If we wanted to learn more about the airport and the future of the airport, and maybe even get a look at this master plan, can we get to it on the internet somehow?
This is not on the internet yet because it's still a draft document, but we're going to be having a public meeting probably sometime in September, and we encourage everybody to come out and make their comments.
Well, I hope you come back on the show and tell us about the meeting, and we'll invite people to come out, and I'd love to see this thing all the way to the end till its end state of total success.
It's a living document, so it's going to continue to change.
Parker McClellan, thank you so much for coming on the show and getting us smart on the airport. You're welcome back anytime.
Thanks, Don.
And we'll see you next time.